Hello, welcome everybody. This is a series of videos on which I'm going to be playing through the game as an occultist, as a witch, right? Which ascend into an occultist with the Bane build. On this video here, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks on how to get through Act 1 with any class, as long as the class has access to Holy Flame Totem. On our first visit to the town here, I always like buying a crystal bell, so we have a chance to avoid being stunned by the robots in the mud flats. In a moment I'm going to show you the skill tree, and the route we're gonna take means that we take no damage nodes until we are level like 13, so end of Act 1. But this combo of the Holy Flame Totem with the Flame Wall is damage enough to get through the areas. Through the footage you will see that I do kill a lot of uniques. Okay, I like killing the uniques. Basically every area has one unique and I like to kill them. When you get to the mud flats, pay attention to the roas. They are currently very strong on the patch 3.18 due to some mods. I like getting the waypoint and going back to the tidal island, so we are a higher level, so we get a flask on a higher level. On this quest here we always get the Quicksilver flask. In this moment I'm just using Freezing Pulse and that's it, but you can use any other skills. Now when we return to town, we want to have at least a 3-socked item with a red, blue, green, so we can use the Holy Flame Totem support, summon phantasms and volley support. It could be a red, blue, blue, so we can change volley support for added lightning damage. If we don't have, that's okay, we just go for a red and blue for the Holy Flame Totem and support phantasms. Another 2-link blue, blue for Flame Wall and Spell Cascade. Spell Cascade is optional, so maybe you could use just one item with one blue socket. And Frost Blink, 2-link Frost Blink and Arcane Surge. Also, if you can't, that's okay, just get Frost Blink. Okay, but the perfect scenario would be this one. Our playstyle for now does not entice many people, which is place the totem down, place the flame wall over it, place the totem down, place the flame wall over it. And basically we need to place like many flame walls because they disappear quite fast at the early levels, okay? So going through the ledge, I like getting the waypoint here and then going back to the zone I was before. However, sometimes I prefer going all the way to the prison and then getting the teleport. On this special footage here, you can see that I magically changed my clothes because it's a different day, it's a different footage. You can see I'm re-exploring the area because the zones have a time limit. When you leave the zone for a very long time, they just disappear, okay? And whatever was there, whatever was explored, is gone. So for now, there's no good reason to fully explore the zone. In this part, I'm showing you how to generate new zones. So when you enter the zone, the game is going to create a private area for you. But let's imagine you want to like redo a zone 1 time or 2 times or 10 times, yes? Maybe you're farming for something in a special area. You can just go to whatever way you have of accessing the area. So if it's through the waypoint, you're gonna hold Ctrl and click on the waypoint. If it is a zone like this, you hold Ctrl and click on the door. This is going to open the menu, you click on new and then it generates a new zone. There are many side zones like this in the game. I like doing all side zones, doing all side quests. However, some of them are unnecessary to be done. Some of them give you regret points, which you can get through regret orbs in later stages of the game. I like doing them all. It's experience, it's fun, that's why I'm playing the game. Keep in mind, the only wrong way to play the game is if you're not having fun.
If you want to do them all, you do. If you want to skip them, skip.
Now on to our second point, okay? Items. What should I pick up? Pick up all blue items, magic items, and rare items. Rare are priority. Okay? To wear. What should you pick up to wear, to use as your gear? Sockets. If you see an item that has the links and the socket colors you need, get that one. Once you have that, let's imagine it's a white item, like in our case we have a white wand, right? A normal wand. It only has the 3 sockets we need. We're gonna keep with this until we find another one, which is magic and has the sockets, or rare and has the sockets and colors and links that we want. Keep this in mind. Now, at this part of the footage, I'm checking the vendor constantly to see if I get links. Every time I level up, the vendors refresh and they might have items with sockets, colors and links that you want. When vendoring, we can do vendor recipes. That's an interesting thing. In our case, we are selling a blue gem and an iron ring. This is going to give us a sapphire ring. If we do this with a green gem, we're going to get a topaz. If we sell an iron ring with a red gem, we're gonna get a ruby. The ruby gives us fire resist, and topaz give us lightning resist. When we are vendoring items, if we vendor a blue item, a magic item unidentified, or a rare item unidentified, we are going to get transmutation shards back. 20 transmutation shards make 1 transmutation orb. A orb of transmutation, whatever. If we identify the items, we're gonna get alteration shards. During the beginning of Act 1, in the second part of Act 1, we need transmutation shards to transform our items into magic items, and also to buy gems after the prison. Okay? So we wanna sell unidentified items that we have no chance of wearing. So for example, boots. Always identify boots, because we can identify one with move speed, and that's going to be useful for us. Wands. We want to identify wands because they may contain the affixes we want. Here we have an example of the dream wand. Okay, it contains everything. You just need 1 or 2 of these affixes, and this is the priority order. Okay, try to remember those. Now here, we're gonna see another vendor recipe. Whenever we sell an item which has a green, red and blue sockets linked, if they are magic, rare, or unique, it doesn't matter. We are going to get a chromatic orb back. And here is where we get the introduction to crafting. This game drops a lot of things, a lot of items, and a lot of currency. The currencies we drop are meant to change our items, to make them stronger, to change the affixes they have, to change the number of sockets, to transform them in rare items, to reroll the rare mods, to add mods, to remove mods, to increase the links, to decrease the links. That's all this game is all about. Items. Now here we have something. You can see that the cliff is to the right there, and if I generate a new zone, you can see the cliff is to the other side. This happens because maps are randomly generated. Now in the ledge, how I know which way is forward? This is the way. You can see these 3 stones on the floor. This means this is the side forward. This is the way forward. Okay? The maps are randomly generated, but they have a tell. They have some way to be read, and this is something you learn with time. Okay? Here I'm going all the way to Kuduku. Okay? In the Sentinel League, if you wanna run some Kudukus over and over, using the Sentinel to kill him, I would recommend. He has a good chance to drop good items, not because he's super special, but because he's a unique mob. Unique creatures have a bigger chance to drop rare items and magic items. Okay, so normal items is like a baseline, then magic monsters have a bigger chance, rare monsters have a even bigger chance than magic, and unique items, again, a bigger chance than rare. Okay, so here is just a little fight, and you can see that even though it's very early in the game, there's some mechanics to these unique enemies, and one of the reasons I like killing unique enemies is to learn these basic mechanics, because now they are just uniques, but once we get to maps, those uniques that we have in various different areas, they will show up as map bosses and the mechanics become more important. Of course, I'm not killing them to learn the mechanic, it's just because I like killing them. Okay, let's see if we get anything cool here. No. Yeah, so let's go to the prison. Now here is when we get to our blight setup. We are going to need a triple blue, okay, for blight or vol blight. We kind of don't have access here unless you're twinking. An efficacy support and avoid manipulation for maximum damage, or infused channeling for some protection and some damage. Okay. Also, we need a 2-socket for flame dash and arcane surge. We've been using frost blink thus far, but once we kill Brutus now in the next part, we can change that. So if you haven't found a 2-link, I would recommend. Arcane surge does give us a buff which increases our damage. Now not that much, because it's 10% more damage, so like 10% of 100 is just 10, right? But once we get like 300k, that's like 30k for free, and even a little more. However, keep in mind that we don't have chaos damage over time in our gear so far. We don't have chaos damage over time in the tree, so our chaos damage is not that important right now. You can either just ignore any upgrades I'm doing and just keep on moving with the Holy Flame Totem and Flame Wall setup all the way to the end of Act 2. Like literally ignore any kind of upgrade, okay? That's up to you. Now back to the prison. In this area is the first time you're gonna find an Ascendancy trial, or a trial of Ascendancy. We need to complete 6 of those in the first part of the game, so we can have access to the Ascendancy, okay? Each class has 3 options of Ascendancy besides the Scion, okay? But we're not going to be talking about that. The first trial is in Act 1, there are 2 trials in Act 2, and then there are 3 trials in Act 3. These complete the 6 trials for the first Ascendancy. However, you can ascend 4 times, okay? Each time gives you 2 points, but the others are in part 2 and in maps, so I'm not gonna be approaching those right now. Just remember to click the plaque at the end, and that's it. Now let's skip ahead to a Brutus kill. Okay, so people, now we go back to the city, we sell some things, and we need to start taking care of our resists. A simple way for us to check our resists is to open the character sheet, go into defenses, and check our resistances. This game is based on the fact that we have 75% resistance to elemental damage. When we say elemental damage, I mean fire damage, lightning damage, and cold damage. Okay, chaos damage is not an elemental resistance. Okay, it is a kind of resist, though. We're gonna have to worry about that on the second part of the game. For Act 1, it's highly recommended we have cold res above 60 to do the final fight, because we're going to face a lot of cold damage. I mean, the boss deals cold damage, right? Merveil deals cold damage. Spoiler alert. If we can get 2 sapphire rings before we get to the graveyard, it's quite nice, because in the graveyard we have those creatures that throw a cold damage ball on our feet, and cold damage inherently applies chill and freeze, and those are elemental ailments. Cold damage can apply chill, which is just a slow, or freeze, which is a stun-like mechanic. Fire can apply ignite and burning, and lightning damage can apply shock. Shock increases the damage you take, freeze stuns you, and fire damage ignites you, dealing an amount of damage, an extra amount of damage over time, based on the first hit. On another subject, in this area we need to find the passage to the ship graveyard cave in order to get the Allflame to do the quest with the pirate guy. Forgot his name again. Graves, Sir Graves, Ear Graves, Fairgraves. Yes. The idea here is we open a portal and we go to the next area so we can get access to the last gems of Act 1. And we are fighting an essence mob. This is one of the mechanics that gets introduced to us. I mean, gets introduced into the game. They don't introduce to the player. Essence mobs are those creatures frozen. We have to like triple click to unfreeze them, so we opt into this challenge. They will yield an item which is called an essence. What an essence does is it works like an alchemy orb. We use it on a normal item, okay, so a white item, and it transforms the item into a rare one. However, an alchemy orb randomly generates all mods. However, a essence guarantees a mod. So in my opinion, essences are the best kind of crafting method to get people into crafting. I will put out some videos about crafting basics, how to identify basic rares, but if you drop essences, use them away, okay? Don't hoard them, use them. Very, very good way to make items in the current league, because we have the recombinators, or recombobulators as people say. It's one of the current best ways to make a lot of money and excellent gear, because we can combine multiple bases which are decent with essence mods and combine them into an like extraordinary item. More on that further down the road. And now here we are using our Essence Drain Contagion. Because we have no nodes on the tree and we don't have good ones, you can see that the Essence Drain deals very little damage at this stage in the game. But if you go for some earlier points on the left side, if you prefer playing like this than with totems, sure, go for it. During this run I did find a wand, which now I'm gonna change. Okay, with chaos damage, so that's just one wand. I believe if we had 2 wands, I would drop the totem setup, However, it's much better to rush to Act 3 and get Bane and then start worrying about changing your links around, because we waste a lot of time with changing the things. Of course, here I am in a stream, I'm talking to chat, I am presenting the things slowly, I'm taking my time, but on hindsight, just ignore it and go. On the footage, I'm using vitality and clarity because I could. I had the sockets, I had the currency, and it's better having some form of mana regen, alive regen, than not having any at this stage in the game. And now let's see the Merveil kill. That's it for Act 1, people. See you in Act 2. Peace.